precinct that I've even come to the reality of death row. I'm here. It's enough to keep me awake at night. It's enough to wake me up out of sleep. Dead sleep. You know, sound sleep. I wake up, think about the process. Who am I going to hear? You know, do I hear voices? Will I be able to look down and see myself laying on this table, strapped to this table? Who will be at my funeral? I think about it a lot.
Usually when I'm trying not to worry about something that I'm worrying about, you know, I'll toss and turn and have about 5 or 6 nightmares in the night, you know, and sometimes I just get up until the side of the bed or whatever, you know, depending on how rough they are, you know. I hope there's an afterlife, you know, and that I go to a better place than I found in this life, you know.
I've had the execution nightmare, you know, where they haul you in, strap you down on a gurney, and roll you into the execution chamber. And I've had them to where the victim that was murdered in this case is standing there, and they're putting all the wires in me, and then he turns into a demon or something, and he's going to be the one to execute me. He's telling me he's sorry, you know. Wake up out of, you know, dead sleep, you know, cold sweat, you know, it's pretty wild stuff.
The United States Supreme Court has paved the way for a significant increase in the number of executions, and recently, a record number has occurred. What is the nature of the legal appeal process that leads to either an acquittal, stay, or execution? And what lives are affected by an act of execution? Death row inmates, prison staff, victim and inmate family members, along with prosecuting and defense attorneys within the state of Missouri, were interviewed in order to explore the mind, the heart, and the soul of an execution.
The thought of being executed is almost always just below the surface. Sometimes it can be a butterfly or a bird. Last week, a dove landed out there in the rec yard, you know, and the dove, of course, represents a symbol of peace. Immediately, the thought comes to my mind that it doesn't mean anything to me, that whatever I am or whatever else I might be, I'm dead.
I'm worrying. I get the sense that anybody would be worried. But I got a certain amount of peace with practicing Islam. I know I made my peace. So I'm not as worried, I say, as I was 3 or 4 years ago.
It's just something that I can't foresee. I just have to wait, and if that happens, then deal with it. It's basically what I try to do day by day, is deal with it the best I can. More so now, before I try to stay in my own world, you know, and get away from it. And I still do to a certain degree. But yeah, my fears are definitely there. Not only for myself, but everybody else. You know, when they take and pull a man off and cuff him up and move him to what's known as the holdover cell, or we call it execution cell, you know, it's just basically a cage designed, you know, for you to be in until they make preparation.
What is it like to await an execution? Lloyd Sloop has been there.
Several months before March this year, I knew it was coming soon. Even my lawyers didn't think it was. They thought, you know, we got a long time. And was telling my family and all. I felt it. I knew my appeal got turned down, and I still had another appeal to go, but it didn't. The opinions didn't sound right. Something was going on there with the state's attorneys, and I was telling the guys out in the population, man, they're gonna get me. Well, they come down this first thing on Monday morning. It was 7:30, 8 o'clock, and it hit me pretty hard. And it was just a CO and I think a lieutenant told me I was going to the holding cell, execution holding cell, and they escorted me over there because some of the people where I was at on that walk, you know, I've known for several years. So when I come out, you know, I didn't think I'd be coming back. But I said, you know, goodbye to some of the guys on the walk, and they said, well, I'll see you when you get back, and you know, this type of thing back and forth. And I said, well, let's hope. But as I was walking over there, I mean, it was just, this is the real thing here. You know, it's come down to this, and here I go. One of the first things I did is ask for the phone, make a phone call. And of course, the first person I called was my attorney. And you know, he was as shocked as I was, but he was ready, you know, to do what needed to be done. And it was just a waiting game from then on out. Of course, my nerves, at that time, that's when my nerves really hit me, you know, that this was real, and I was here, you know. But it was pretty nerve-wracking when they started turning down my innocence claims. I mean, it was just driving my mother. She was just a wreck.
And they put us in that room with something. And my heart was just breaking. And I just wanted to die myself. If I could, I would. If it would help him, I would. And I held him, and we didn't say anything. We just held each other and hugged each other tighter and tighter and tighter.
And he tries to be so strong. You try to be strong for his sake. And he's trying to be strong for your sake. But I don't think anyone could ever tell you how they feel sitting in a room waiting. Someone else's death, your brother's death. It's impossible.
Halfway through the second day, I got a stay. One of the federal judges gave us a stay of execution. And they come, and I mean, everybody was just jubilant, you know. Of course, you get a stay, you know, everybody's excited about that. And I talked to my lawyer on the phone, and he said, you know, no problem, you know, we're good to go now. And, you know, telling me all these different things we was going to do and whatnot. So I said, fine. So I packed up my stuff, and they escorted me back over to my cell, and I was in the cell. I didn't even unpack. I was so mentally exhausted, I just laid down on a bare mattress. Didn't have no sheets on it. I just laid down on it. And I stayed there, and I was going to go to sleep. I was going to sleep probably 10, 15 hours. And it was like 35 minutes later, they come back. They come about 6 guards. When I seen them, I knew something was up. They said, don't unpack. The execution's back on.